Fox Sports.
We are Fox. We are hungry.
It's time for Dodger Baseball. Live from Dodger Stadium, Prime Ticket presents the Dodgers and the Phillies. Hi, everybody, and a very pleasant afternoon to you, wherever you may be on this Wednesday. Dodgers closing up their work with Philadelphia. The Phillies, winning last night, have won 3 out of 5. This is the final meeting between the two teams. Roy Oswalt, with a record of 7-3 in his career against the Dodgers, going up against Clayton Kershaw, who has never beaten Philadelphia. He is 0-3. The Dodgers find themselves 6.5 games back, and time is certainly running out. For the Giants, however, they're hanging very tough. Philadelphia leads in the wild card race, but only by 1.5 games against the Giants, and the Giants are only 4 back in their divisional race, so we've got something going. And remember, the Giants will be here on the weekend. We'll get to the ball game. We'll have it all coming up for you right after this.
We're here for you.
Wow. Was there a loss of thought process there for that entire time, or what? Oh, my God.
Run it during the game, out of a break.
That was really not good.
That's true. Is it video of him from last time?
Time for the starting lineups for your Los Angeles Dodgers, as chosen by manager Joe Torre.
What should I follow up? That sort of type of follow-up vibe? Yeah. Watch us on TV, then get to Santa Monica. Enjoy the beach. It is the Dodgers and the Phillies. It's Kershaw. It's Oswalt. It's our Lexus pursuing perfection. Let's go to Clayton Kershaw, and he really just needs to solidify himself if he hasn't already at the top of this rotation.
Yeah, I think, there's a lot of guys that have taken huge steps this year towards the top of that rotation, especially after the first half of the season. If I told you that Clayton Kershaw in his last 9 starts has only won 3 games, would you believe me? Unbelievable. Bad offensive production when he goes out there to pitch the ball, but he has been great, and he is heading towards being an ace.
Yeah, he doesn't have the wins, only one in his last 6, but a lot of no decisions. He's pitched well, and this is one of those games. Listen, the Dodgers have to have it. It doesn't get any easier, though, against the Phillies.
He has pitched against 11 guys this season that have 10 wins or more, so he's always up against the other team's ace. So it's tough to get victories when he's out there, but he doesn't mind taking the ball there, and he's just shown me and everybody else this year that he's 22 years old only by age. He's way beyond his years.
Well, you got to a Halladay early. Hopefully you can do it to Oswalt tonight. It's Clayton Kershaw, Roy Oswalt, Dodgers, Phils, and Vince Scully has the call next.
And 11 Hyundai Sonata. Visit your Southern California Hyundai dealers today. By Shaky. What's the most home runs hit by one player in a single Major League game? Go to Shakey's.com/trivia. By CarMax. Now more than ever, the smart choice is CarMax. And by AT&T. TV, high-speed internet, home phone, and wireless. Visit ATT.com or call 1-800-PIC-ATT for details. Hi, everybody, and a very pleasant Wednesday afternoon to you, wherever you may be. The Dodgers and the Phillies ready to battle it out on a glorious afternoon. Not a cloud in the sky. Beautiful day and perfect one for a baseball game. For the Phillies, they find themselves a game and a half in front of the Giants in the wild card, 6.5 games ahead of the Dodgers in the wild card. In their Eastern Division, the Phillies are 3 games back of the Atlanta Braves. For the Dodgers, realize that time is running out, and they have to come up with a good one today and then see if they can't give the Giants a bad time on the weekend. The Giants are only 4 back in the Western Division against San Diego and a game and a half behind Philadelphia. So when the Giants come here, they will really have something to shoot for. For the Dodgers, they're hoping somehow to get back on track and make a race out of it. Here's the Philadelphia Phillies lineup, and no changes really for either team. Jimmy Rollins at short, Chase Utley at second, Placido Polanco at third. Then you have Ryan Howard at first and Jason Worth in right field. Shane Victorino in center. Raul Ibanez in left field. Carlos Ruiz, who just wrecks the Dodgers whenever he plays. He'll be behind the plate. And Roy Oswalt on the mound. On the mound for the Dodgers will be Clayton Kershaw. And on paper, it figures to be a tough day for the hitters on each side. Kershaw is 11-8. He is 0-3 against Philadelphia. But in the daytime, he is 4-1, and the opposition is hitting .201 against him. Roy Oswalt is 4-4 in the daytime, and the opposition is hitting .207 against him. So we could have a dandy here, and we'll find out in a couple of minutes as Jimmy Rollins will start it off. Rollins will be followed by Utlaw and then by Polanco. Jimmy Rollins really struggling. He's had just 2 hits in his last 34 at-bats. His average has dwindled now to .241, hitting about a half a buck over that stretch of 34. Jimmy takes inside and low, ball 1. Switch hitter, batting right-handed. And to see what kind of a difference there is, .275 right, .226 left. Jimmy promptly bangs one to left field and deep. Back goes Posednik on the track at the wall. It is gone, clearing the scoreboard. And just like that, the Phillies are on the board. So Jimmy Rollins coming out of a slump with a bang as he hits a home run to lead off the game. That would be his 7th home run of the year. And Rollins is a fella who has led off a lot of games with home runs. So it is no real surprise. In fact, he's led off Game 4 of the division series with a home run. And he led off Game 5 of the championship series with a home run. And Jimmy puts a dent in the Dodger facade immediately, and the Phillies lead 1-0. And the batter now will be Chase Utley. Utley, left-hand batter, has a look at a pitch low, ball 1, 1-0. That is the 35th career leadoff home run by Jimmy Rollins, his 2nd of this year. And a 1-ball, no strike count to Utley. Kershaw comes back with a fastball low and inside, ball 2. Once again, not that it's really important, but it is interesting. Kershaw struggling in the first inning, and Rollins hits a home run. So 1-0 Philadelphia. Now the 2-0 pitch on the way to Chase Utley. That's swung on and missed. Looking at the past, Jimmy Rollins was just 3 for 14 against Kershaw. Utley, however, hitting .300 against him. The temperature, a beautiful 83 degrees here in the ballpark. The 2-1 pitch on the way, and Utley probably bangs that thing into the gap in right center field. That'll go to the wall. Utley hustling into second and slows down with his double. So for Clayton Kershaw, somewhat of a discouraging beginning. A home run followed by a double. Let's take a look at the Dodgers with the leather. Posednik, Kemp, and Ethier in the outfield, with Blake, Carroll, Belliard, and Loney on the infield. Barajas will be catching Kershaw. He hasn't caught very many pitches, has he? So Rollins homers, Utley doubles, and the batter will be Placido Polanco. 1-0 in favor of Philadelphia. Polanco, right-hand batter, hitting .307. 6 home runs, 43 runs batted in, and the fastball in for a strike, and the count 0-1. For Philadelphia, when they finish this game, they will fly over to Colorado and play a night game, a makeup game from one that had been rained out early in the year. So the Phillies have a tough ride ahead of them. Strike 1 pitch is fouled away. They not only play a night game in Colorado tomorrow, they then fly all night. They figure to get back to Philadelphia around 4:30 in the morning, and then they play at night. The Dodgers will be faced with a similar thing when they play a night game in San Diego next week, and then have to fly to Houston overnight and arrive about 4:30. And of course, by this time, a bunch of very tired ball players and weary, and those really take a lot out of both teams. 0-2 the count to Polanco. The Phillies have done very well of late in the daytime. They've won 10 of the last 11 day games they've played. Kershaw out of a stretch. A look back at second. Now to Polanco. Almost hit him. Placido just did get out of the way of it. 1-2 the count. The Phillies total are 23-19 in the daytime. The Dodgers are 18-18, 500. 1-2 the count. Ryan Howard waiting on deck. Kershaw another look back at Utley, and the pitch grounded foul outside of first and down the line. Roy Oswalt and Clayton Kershaw banging heads. Then starting Friday night, the Giants will be here. Barry Zito against Chad Billingsley. Saturday night, Matt Cain and Ted Lilly. And then Sunday evening, Jonathan Sanchez and Hiroki Kuroda. 1-2 to Polanco. Out of a stretch is Kershaw. Big curveball in the dirt, blocked by Barajas, and the count 2-2 Dodgers and Phils in their final meeting of the year. Of course, the last 2 years they've met in postseason play. Padilla won a big game, 15-9. Oswalt shut out the Dodgers 2-0. Phillies won 10-9. Kuroda, of course, had his jam and won 3-0. And then Kendrick beat Monasterios last night 8-4. Pitch at the plate, foul back. Though Polanco is still there. 2-2. Phillies trying to go home in good shape. They're in reasonably good shape. A game and a half in front. 3 behind Atlanta. Phillies are break even in day games on the road. They're 10-10. Now the 2-2 pitch coming up. Kershaw delivers high with a fastball, ball 3. Phillies are also trying to win the series. This is one of those rubber games, and the Phils have been very successful. They've won 9 of the last 11 series. Charlie Manuel riding a team that had suffered injury to the big guys and now starting to heal. And the next pitch is in for strike 3 call to Placido Polanco. He was on his way to first base. So Polanco is called out, 1 away, and the batter Ryan Howard. So Polanco gets the bad news from Paul Nauert and then goes to the dugout. Ryan Howard last night had 1 hit, but it was a dandy as Polanco stays in the game and just goes back to the dugout controlling himself. Ryan Howard had a 3-run home run last night. He has 24 home runs this year. He has 246 home runs in a great career. With a runner at second, the Dodgers have a modified triangle defense, and Ryan takes a curveball for a strike. Jamie Carroll can't go across the line really. He's maybe a step or 2 over towards second base, but almost lined up directly behind the bag. Belliard about 5 feet out on the grass, and Loney deep and guarding the line. Strike 1 pitch of a left-hand hitter. He holds up, and that's in there. 0-2. Ryan Howard just 1 for 8 against Clayton Kershaw. Ryan back up and waiting. 0-2 the count. Big man holds that bat out like a television antenna, picking up his own signals. Now the strike 2 pitch coming up, and he takes high, ball 1. 1-2 the count to Ryan Howard. Howard, among other things, gives you quite a strike zone. He's a big man. He's 6'4", and listed at 255. Went to school at Southwest Missouri State, and sees more breaking pitches than just about anybody else in the league. And he just chases the breaking ball, a slider, and down he goes. They figured out last year he saw almost 36% of breaking balls, and during the World Series he saw almost 58% breaking balls. So down he goes on the slider, and we have 2 out. First inning, 1-0 Phils. Howard quietly going back into the dugout, and Jason Worth now checks in at the plate. Jason Worth hitting .295. He has 18 home runs, 63 runs batted in. Big guy, as you may know, formerly Dodger property. And Jason has a look at a strike, and the count 0-1. Jason Worth against Clayton Kershaw is hitting .308. Jason, a wonderful all-around ball player, has a great arm in right field and a wonderful base stealer and base runner. He does it all. Strike one pitch, he takes it on the outside corner, and the count 0-2. Clayton Kershaw 11-8. He is 0-3 in his career against the Phillies, and he gave up the leadoff home run to Jimmy Rollins. 1-0 Philadelphia. 2 out. Clayton looks down to get the sign from Barajas. A look back at Chase Utley, who doubled. And the strike 2 pitch swung on, tapped out in front of the plate. Barajas picks it up and throws him out. So it started off on a rough note, home run followed by a double, but Kershaw strikes out Polanco and Howard, and it's 1-0 Philadelphia. Jimmy Rollins leading off with a home run. We'll take a look now at the Dodger lineup, and here they come. Scott Podsednik and Jamie Carroll, Andre Ethier and Matt Kemp. Then you have James Loney and Casey Blake. Ronnie Belliard still playing for Terrio at second base. Rod Barajas the catcher, and Clayton Kershaw on the mound. On the mound for the Philadelphia Phillies, Roy Oswalt. Oswalt out of Ware, Mississippi. It's a town of about 550 people. So he is a country boy. And Oswalt, a marvelous pitcher, had back-to-back years when he won 20 with the Houston Astros. And his first pitch to Scott Podsednik is high, ball 1-0. Oswalt is particularly good in the pressure months of August, September, and October. That's one reason the Phillies went out to get him. Comes back with a fastball hit in the air. Victorino goes back, reaches up, and Shane makes the catch. So Podsednik, a line drive out to center, one away. Let's back up the statement about Oswalt being so tough during the pressure months. In the regular season in August, he's 31-7. Regular season September, 26-9. In October, 2-0. And in the postseason, in October, of course, he is a perfect 4-0. Oswalt, 33 years old, just turned it on the 29th. And his first pitch to Jamie Carroll, up and in, ball 1-0. Jamie hitting .288. He has 21 runs batted in. Oswalt comes back and drills it in there for a strike, and the count 1-1. For Oswalt, he's second in the league in the rate of strikes to total pitches. He averages close to 70% strikes. 1-1 pitch a little high, ball 2. One thing he has done, he's been burned on no ball 2 strike counts. He's given up 16 hits when he's that far out in front in the count. Another thing, he has really had to pitch well because his run support is about 2.5 runs a game. He comes back with a strike to Jamie Carroll, and the count 2 balls and 2 strikes. Oswalt pawing at the dirt around the rubber, deep in thought. He does stand on the rubber a little different than most pitchers. Here's the 2-2 pitch, swung on and missed, and down goes Jamie Carroll, 2 down. Oswalt, number 1, when he stands on the rubber, he's on the first base side of the rubber, but he has 1 foot in front of the other. It's kind of a different stance. So the right foot will be on the rubber, and he's still fussing with it like someone who really wants a clean house out there. Everything has to be just right for him. Right foot on the rubber, left foot is in front of the right foot, and he kind of hurtles himself at the hitter. The pitch to Andre Ethier is high, ball 1, 1-0. Andre hitting .296, 20 home runs, 71 runs batted in. Oswalt looks down, getting a sign from Ruiz, back with a fastball away, 2-0 the count. Andre Ethier, .214 against Oswalt, 3 hits, 1 of them a home run. So the boy from Ware, Mississippi, apparently not too far from where Brett Favre grew up. That's a strike, 2-1. His high school was very small, only 32 people in his senior class, and actually no one ever came to see a Ware High School baseball team. Ground ball to short, a lot of English on it, but Rollins with the arm nails him, and that's that. So Oswalt sets the Dodgers down, and at the end of an inning, Phillies won, and the Dodgers nothing. If you were watching on television, you saw he was like a fussy housekeeper. He was just always pacing, cleaning off the rubber, going to the follow-through area. Then when the third out, after he got Ethier, he stopped to talk to the plate umpire, Paul Nauert. Nauert then went out to talk with the crew chief, Brian Gorman, about something on the mound, and then they continue without calling the grounds crew, so we're not quite sure what it is. Second inning, Shane Victorino, Raul Ibanez, and Carlos Ruiz. First pitch in for a strike to Shane. 0-1. The boy from Maui. Maui no Ka'oi, as they say over there. Maui is the best. He now lives in Wailuku. Strike 1 pitch. Pops it foul directly behind the plate. That carries to the second deck. 0-2 the count. Victorino hitting .250. 15 home runs, 58 runs batted in, And he was the boy who broke up Kuroda's no-hitter the other night with a line drive single to right field. Victorino, right-handed, hits a drive to left field and deep. Back goes Pasetnik, away back, and that's gone. So home runs by Rollins and Victorino. And the Phillies jump out to a 2-0 lead. For Philadelphia, they now, as a team, have hit 130 home runs. For Clayton Kershaw, he's allowed 13, and that home run is the pitcher's nightmare. It came on a no-ball, 2-strike count. So the Phillies flexing their muscles. With their 130 home runs, the Dodgers have just 98. And the batter is Raul Ibanez. Young fella takes a breaking ball strike. So Kershaw shaken up now. With the 2 home runs today, he's given up 13. And the strike 1 pitch on the way. Breaking ball away. 1 ball and 1 strike. You can imagine what a fine line it is between getting a hitter out and giving up a home run. Not much of a difference, just a hair. Breaking ball strike, and the count 1-2 to Raul. So Kershaw has given up 2 home runs and a double. He trails 2-0, and Ibanez trying to keep it going. The 1-2 pitch to Raul. Fastball ties him up, awkward swing, and he strikes out. So feast or famine for Kershaw. He has given up 2 home runs. He has struck out 3. Fastball really tied up Ibanez. Carlos Ruiz coming up, and he's become a Dodger nightmare. He's hurt them so often. Made a brief appearance last night. Brief enough to come up, got a line drive single to left to drive in 2 and open up the gap and make the game far more comfortable for the Phillies. Carlos takes a strike, 0-1. Ruiz has hit well over 300 in both of the championship games in 08 and 09 against the Dodgers. He takes off the plate. 1 ball and 1 strike to count to Carlos. Ruiz is from Panama, from Chiriqui, Panama. We've mentioned it before. He's the only player to ever pinch hit for Johnny Bench. He takes a strike, and the count 1-2. He hit .313 in the postseason against the Dodgers in 08, .385 last year, and he takes a pitch at his feet. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Ruiz with the nickname Chooch. Right-handed all the way. 31 years old. Now the 2-2 pitch coming up, and Ruiz swings, lifts it off first, foul ground. Loney will not have a play. That's back in about 6 rows. And the count remains 2 balls and 2 strikes. Don't forget, tomorrow is an off day for the Dodgers, not for the Phillies. They have to make up that game in Colorado. And then the Giants will be here with so much at stake. And if the Dodgers can't move, if they can't win, they would sure love to be a spoiler. Friday night, Saturday night, and Sunday evening. 2-2 pitch is swung on and fouled away, bouncing into the Dodger dugout. So Carlos still there. Ruiz for a month now hitting .333. And the 2-2 pitch coming up. Kershaw delivers, and it is missed at the plate in the dirt. Barajas picks it up, throws to first, and they get Ruiz. That would be the 4th strikeout for Clayton Kershaw, and the batter will be Roy Oswalt. Oswalt is not a bad hitter. He has 7 hits. He has 9 sacrifices. And most importantly, he makes contact. He has only struck out a hair less than 25%. Now, that's wonderful for a pitcher. So Oswalt waiting at the plate, right-handed all the way. Kershaw comes to him with a fastball, a little low, ball 1. 1-0 the count. Now Kershaw comes back 1-0 and fires a strike, and the count goes 1 ball and 1 strike. Kershaw at 22 against Oswalt, who is 33. Fastball fouled away down the line, going back into the lower deck off first base. If you joined us a little late, Jimmy Rollins opened up the game with a home run to left field. And then Shane Victorino opened up the second inning with a home run to left field. And it's 2-0 Philadelphia. Now the 1-2 pitch on the way. Looked like a change or a curveball, but nothing happened. It just stayed up. 2-2 the count. Oswalt waiting. Here comes Kershaw. Fastball is fouled at the plate, and Oswalt's still there. 2-2 the count. Last time the Dodgers saw Oswalt was back on the 11th, and the Phillies won that game 2-0. And he's leading 2-0 today. He takes high, though Kershaw goes all the way with the opposing pitcher. 3-2. Clayton waiting as Oswalt backs out for the moment. Now young Kershaw ready, and the 3-2 pitch is taken. Strike 3 call. Fastball down around the knees, so Kershaw strikes out the side after the home run by Victorino at the end of an inning and a half. 2-0 Philadelphia. Two-0 Philadelphia. Shane Victorino had not homered in 30 games. He hits a no-ball, 2-strike pitch out against Kershaw, who has allowed 2 home runs in a game only 5 times in his career. As they say in New York, go figure. And we go to the bottom of the second, 2-0 Philadelphia. Dodgers now will have Matt Kemp, James Loney, and Casey Blake. Oswalt's first pitch, a big swing and a miss by Matt, 0-1. Kemp and Loney each have been hitting very well in their careers against the Phillies. Kemp .355 and Loney .351. The strike 1 pitch is hit in the air to right center. Jason Worth is calling, and Victorino bails out, and Jason makes the catch. So 1 away in the second inning. Last night, the Dodgers were pretty much out of the game, and then in the 6th inning, Matt Kemp singled, and James Loney came up and hit a home run against Kyle Kendrick. That kept the crowd up and got the Dodgers close, 6-4. But then Ruiz had the pinch single to drive in 2, and the Phillies won going away 8-4. So here is Loney. For Roy Oswalt, leading 2-0. He doesn't get more than that usually in a game. The pitch to Loney is outside. In Oswald's 13 losses, his teams have combined to score a total of 11 runs. 1 ball and no strikes. Back with a pitch away, ball 2. The 13 starters opposing Oswald in those games have combined to put up an ERA of 1. You can understand why he's lost. That's about the only way. Off speed, in for a strike, and the count 2-1. Oswald, in looking under a microscope, you look at his first time and then through the lineup. The pitch is outside, ball 2. First time through the lineup, the opposition hitting 240. Second time, 238. Third time, 199. And the fourth time, 158. So you don't learn anything. The more you stay in the game against Oswald, he's the one who's in strong command. 3-1 pitch to Loney is in there for a strike, 3-2. Give you an idea about Kershaw, it is directly opposite. First time, 199. Second time, 222. Third time, 235. Fourth time, 292 as Loney swings and fouls it away. So in retrospect then, the fourth time around, the opposition is hitting 292 against Kershaw, and the fourth time around, the opposition is hitting 158 against Oswald. What a difference. 3-2 the count to Loney. 2-0 Philadelphia in the second inning. Now the right-hander ready, comes back way inside, ball 4. So after retiring 4 in a row, Oswald walks Loney, and he'll face Casey Blake. You know, the Coca-Cola Value Pack is available for Wednesday, Thursday, and Sunday games in September. It includes 4 tickets, 4 Dodger dogs, 4 Cokes, and 4 Dodger action figures for $17 a seat. For tickets, visit Dodgers.com/specials or call 866-DODGERS. Here now is Blake. Casey looks at a strike. Blake batting .254. He has 14 home runs, 57 runs batted in. Clayton Kershaw, a victim of 2 home runs. Jimmy Rollins, Shane Victorino, and the Phillies lead 2-0. Strike 1 pitch on the way, swung on, popped in the air, back to first down the line. Worth coming over near the line and makes the catch for the out. The Casey a fly ball the other way, 2 down, and the batter will be Ronnie Belliard.
Dodger second baseman number 3, Ronnie Belliard.
Oswald sneaky fast. When you look at your book, Posednik lined out to center. Ethier grounded to short the other way. Kemp flied to right the other way. And now Blake has flied to right. So here's Belliard hitting .223. 2 home runs, 19 runs batted in, and a fastball off the plate, ball 1. And looking at the all-important ratio of walks to strikeouts, Oswald has walked 44, and he has struck out 156. The 1-0 pitch in for a strike. Phillies 2, Dodgers nothing, second inning. Oswald working from the first side of the rubber out of his stretch. Comes back with a fastball whacked to left, but standing right there is Adonis to make the catch, and that's that. Nothing across, couple of fly balls and a walk, and at the end of 2, Phillies 2, Dodgers nothing. In the third inning, the leadoff men have done the damage. Jimmy Rollins led off the game with a home run. Shane Victorino led off the second inning with a home run. And now Rollins will lead off the third inning. There is one other consistency about Kershaw, and he can't be happy about that, would be the number of pitches as Rollins takes ball one. Clayton made 21 pitches in the first inning, 21 pitches in the second. So he now made 43 pitches. And the 1-0 pitch to Rollins. Jimmy backs away. It's high. Ball two. 2-0 the count. Tomorrow an off day, and the Giants here Friday night. Kershaw into his windup. The 2-0 pitch on the way. Fastball in there to Jimmy. 2-1 the count. Jimmy Rollins has 2 Gold Gloves. He was the most valuable player in 2007. Hits a one-hopper to third. Blake stays it and throws him out. So 1 away. The batter now will be Chase Utley. Casey Blake backhanding the ball as he dropped to his right knee. Made it look very easy. Chase Utley checking in after a nice play by Casey at third. Utley, a local boy. He was born in Pasadena, makes his home in Wilmington. And as you probably know, he's a Bruin from UCLA. The first pitch of the left-hand hitter is a strike. Dodgers wanted him badly back in 1997. Heck, they offered him $1 million, but he opted to go to UCLA. A couple of years went by, and he signed a bonus for just about $1.8 million. Strike one pitch. Chase has a look, and it's off the plate. 1-1. He's had problems the last couple of years, but he is tough. He refuses to give in. He had a bad hip, then a bad thumb, and he's hanging tough. 11 home runs, 41 runs batted in. Kershaw's next pitch is low, ball 2. Kershaw struck out the side in the second inning, so he's working on Utley with 5 strikeouts. 2-1 to Chase. 6'1", 185, a lot of power. Had 32 home runs 4 years ago, and has to shy away from a pitch up and in, ball 3. In 2006, that was the great year for Chase Utley. He had 203 hits along with the 32 home runs. Kershaw turns, and his 3-1 pitch, fastball lifted into shallow left field. Posednik coming in, fighting the glare, and makes the catch for the out. 2 down in the third inning. 5 in a row retired. Boy, was that a play by Scott Posednik last night. I don't know if you were here. Utley hit a high foul ball down the left field line, heading for the stands. And who else was heading for the stands but Scott Posednik, head first, and wound up making the catch. And what was really funny, we didn't note it last night. We'll tell you about it in a second. The pitch to Polanco swung on and missed. Posednik went over the railing and head first down into the seat. And what happens is when he comes out, he puts his cap on his head, and it's a fan's cap. It's not his. Polanco fouls another one away, and they count 0-2. So Scotty, after making a brilliant catch, a little embarrassed. He had to laugh about it. And the fan and Scott switch hats. But boy, what a tremendous play. And that was on a ball hit by Utley. So here's Polanco, 0-2 the count, takes a pitch in the dirt. 1-2. Placido Polanco. You'd expect him maybe to be one of the 3 tenors instead of Placido Domingo. 1-2. Polanco, right-hand batter, every inch a ball player, and promptly hits a curveball into left field for a base hit. So Polanco had a couple of base hits last night, 2, and now 1 for 2 today. Just straightening out the curveball, a nice, slow, easy swing. And the batter, Ryan Howard. the former trombone player in his high school band. Big Howard, 24 home runs, 84 runs batted in. A lot of people wondered about Ryan Howard. Not quite as big as the Dodgers' Frank Howard, but he will do. Left-hand hitter waves at a pitch off the plate. That was a fastball, 0-1 to count. Ryan Howard got to his 100 mark faster than any other player in big league history. It took him 325 games to hit 100. He now has 246. He takes off the plate, 1 ball and 1 strike. He got 100 quicker than Ralph Kiner. So the big fella out of St. Louis, lives in Wildwood, Missouri, went to Southwest Missouri State. 1-1 pitch on the way. Ground ball into shallow right field. That's where Belliard picks it up to throw him out. And the triangle defense stops another left-hand batter. No runs, 1 hit, a man left. At the end of 2.5, 2-0 Philadelphia. Rod Barajas, Clayton Kershaw, and Scott Podsednik. Barajas, who played for the Phillies a couple of years ago, has really been a pain in the neck going against them. His career batting average against the Phillies, .487. He has 8 home runs and 19 runs batted in. Oswald ready, deals, and Barajas takes a strike on the inside corner. 0-1 to Rod. Local boy experiencing that once-in-a-lifetime thrill. Coming back home and playing for the home club. The strike 1 pitch, a little low. 1-1 the count. And for Barajas, of course, hit a home run in his first Dodger game in Milwaukee. Then hit a home run in Denver. And for good measure, homered here. He takes off the plate. 2-1 the count. Facing one of the top pitchers in the game, Roy Oswald. Not only a fine pitcher, Oswald was a very good football player. Barajas fouls it away. Oswald stands an even 6, 185. But in high school, he was a receiver, a defensive back, scored 8 touchdowns, had 5 interceptions. So he was a good player. The 2-2 pitch on the way, fouled off to the right, sounded like a cracked bat, and Barajas will have to get another. So we'll have a chance to talk about Oswald. When Roy was 11 years old, 11, he was out deer hunting and shot an 8-point buck, and he still has that buck mounted in his house. His house, by the way, on 40 acres of land that was originally owned by his grandfather. The 2-2 pitch on the way is off the plate, ball 3, 3-0. One of the strangest things about Oswald, he had a bad arm. It was 1997, very sore shoulder, didn't want to tell anybody, thought he could pitch through it. And he also owned a Ford F-150 hunting truck. 3-2 the count. Oswald ready into the windup. Here he comes, way off the plate, ball 4. So Oswald gets the walk. He gives it up, and Barajas trots to first. Anyway, he was working on the truck, and he grabbed a bare spark plug wire, and he was zapped all the way across the garage. And this is a direct quote from the country boy. He told his wife, "My truck done shocked the fire out of me, and my arm don't hurt no more." Sounds like Dizzy Dean. But anyway, it happened. I mean, the shoulder pain went away. Brad Ausmus was catching him in those days. Brad said maybe he's found a new way to get over a sore arm. Now here's Kershaw, good bunter, shows bunt, takes high, ball 1. 1-0 the count at Clayton. Kershaw has 14 sacrifices. Remarkable. 2-0 in favor of Philadelphia, bottom of the 3rd inning. Instead, the pitch, and Kershaw pulls the bat back again, and the count 2 balls and no strikes. Oswald goes behind the mound to clean his spikes for the moment. Kershaw waiting, 2 balls and no strikes. Scott Posednik on deck. Barajas short lead at first. Now the 2-0 pitch. Kershaw pulls the bat back, but it's a strike, and the count 2-1. If the Phillies should get into postseason play, it's conceivable they could wind up playing the Cincinnati Reds. And there's a number about Oswald and Cincinnati that's pretty interesting. 2-1 pitch is a strike. In his career, Oswald is 23-3 against the Reds. But he's 0-2 against them this year. Different Cincinnati ball club. Before those 2 defeats, 23-1 against a big league team. That's really remarkable. 2-2 the count to Kershaw. Instead, a lob throw to first. Barajas back on the bag. Phillies lead on Muscle. Home run by Rollins. Home run by Victorino. 2-2 pitch. Kershaw bunts and got it down. Ryan Howard's only play is Hartley covering. So 15 sacrifices for Clayton Kershaw, and he made it look easy on a 2-strike pitch. Say, don't forget Friday, Dodgers and Giants. After the game, fans invited on the field, taking the fireworks show presented by Bank of America. And for tickets, visit Dodgers.com or give us a call, 866-DODGERS. Barajas at second, 1 out. Scott Posednik got a high fastball and lined it right into Victorino's glove in center field. This time he takes a pitch down in the strike zone, and the count 0-1. Scotty hitting .290, half a dozen runs batted in, and Ruiz out to talk to Oswald. So timeout for the moment. Oswald, the country boy out of Ware, Mississippi. He has 4 dogs, we understand. 0-1 the count. Strike 1 pitch is fouled away off third, out of play. Interesting story. Usually is when you dig on a player about either mother or dad. His father, Billy Oswald, was in the timber business. And boy, was he tough. 0-2 the count of Posednik, and the pitch is low and away, ball 1. A tumbling log once knocked the warring saw out of his father's hands onto his right foot, cutting straight through the boot. And Dad Billy went home, wouldn't let young Roy see the injury, got it fixed, and went right back to work. 1-2 the count. Oswald delivers, and it's pop foul out of play. Roy said, I could give my dad all the money in the world, and he'd still do the logging. Interesting, during the 2005 World Series, Dad Billy went to St. Louis with friends to see Roy pitch Game 6. An hour after the game that night, drove home, got in at 6:15 and went right to work. The pitch low and inside to Posednik. So watching a father with work habits like that, you can understand a hard-working Roy Oswald. 2-2 the count to Scott Posednik. Trying to pick up Barajas from second. Might be a little tough. Big catcher with one out. 2-2 pitch way off the plate. Ball 3. 3-2. Talking about hard work, his grandfather, Billy's father, he was a logger. He was 5'5", used a chainsaw every day until he was 78 years old. And then Roy's dad, Billy, told his father, hey, it's time for you to put that saw away. So Houston Oswald went to work growing watermelons, 20 acres of them, and he hoed them by hand. I mean, you're talking about a tough family. Grandfather Houston, father Billy, and now Roy. Here's the 3-2 pitch. Posednik, a check swing comebacker. Oswald holding Barajas and flips to Howard for the second out. So 2 down in the third inning, and here's Jamie Carroll. Carroll struck out in the first inning. One other thing, we were talking about the grandfather growing watermelons. Well, Roy and his older brother Brian would hoe and pick melons all day long, then load them onto a cart, sell them from a roadside stand underneath an oak tree on Route 413 in Mississippi. On the other side of Route 413, there was a pond. And you know, kids, they like to throw rocks. Jamie Carroll takes a strike, and all the kids tried to throw the rocks to the pond. They couldn't reach it. Oswald would pick up the rocks and always reach the pond. He couldn't understand why the other kids couldn't do it. The pond was over 100 yards away. So talk about arm strength, even as a little kid. 1 ball and 1 strike to count to Jamie Carroll. We have 2 out, bottom of the third. Phillies lead the Dodgers 2-0. Kind of veil of heat covering the mountains out in center field. Meanwhile, a high fly ball to center field. Shane Victorino is there. That'll be that. So Barajas walks, and they leave him at second. And at the end of 3, Phillies 2, Dodgers nothing. weren't with us earlier, it's pretty easy to catch you up. Leading off, Jimmy Rollins. Anthem is barely out in the mountains, and so is the baseball. 1-0 Philadelphia. Second inning, Shane Victorino leading off. Home run into the left field pavilion. And you're caught up. 2-0 Phils. Boy, what a gorgeous day. 83 degrees. We'll have Worth, Victorino, and Ibanez. Jason tapped one out in front of the plate. Barajas threw him out. Ball one. Jason batting .295. He has 18 home runs, 63 runs batted in. So glad for Jason Worth that he's doing well with the Phillies. He was a terrific young player with the Dodgers, and he had a couple of tough breaks. Crashed into the wall in Denver, hurt his shoulder. Also hit by a pitch that shattered his left wrist. Thought he might be done, but in a sense, he sold himself to Charlie Manuel and the Phillies. He gave them a DVD of some of the high moments, and he had plenty of them. And of course, he's a fixture in right field now. 1-2 to Jason Worth. Talk about lineage. His grandfather, Dick Schofield, played for the Pirates in the World Series in 1960, famous for the home run by Bill Mazeroski. His grandfather played from 1953 to 1971. And then his uncle, Dick Schofield Jr., he spent 14 years in the big leagues, played in the '93 World Series. Check swing. They'll look, no swing. When he was hit on the wrist, Jason Worth was hit by a 96-mile-an-hour fastball from A.J. Burnett when Burnett was with the Florida Marlins, and broke his left wrist. Off the plate. So Jason draws the walk. Kershaw has given up 2 home runs, struck out 5, and the batter is Shane Victorino, switch hitter, batting right-handed. Phillies lead 2-0. The Dodgers have really been struggling in this series. Dodgers are 2 for 16 with runners in scoring position. They've had just the opportunity in the third when Barajas walked and was sacrificed to second, but neither Posednik nor Carroll could pick him up. Victorino hitting .252. He has 16 home runs now, 59 runs batted in. Another fella at one time Dodger property. 0-1 to Shane. Victorino, as we mentioned earlier, from Hawaii. He was a track star, ran the 100 meters and the 200. He won a Hawaii state championship. His dad, a political figure on Maui, ran for the Maui County Council, won with 70% of the vote. 1 ball and 1 strike. When you hear somebody's from Hawaii, you immediately think of the beach and surfing and high waves, but that did not figure in Shane Victorino's life. He said, I never went surfing. I never fell in love with water sports. Dodgers chose him in the 6th round back in 1999. That's a strike. In 2005, Shane was the International League MVP winner. He has always worn number 8. It has some meaning for him as Worth takes his lead at first. Good curveball, and number 8 will go back to the dugout. He wore number 8 in high school. His mother's birthday is on the 8th. And he was behind the 8 ball just then when he turned and hollered something to Noah. So he's done. So Victorino back in the shadows of the dugout, and Raul Ibanez coming up. That would be 6 strikeouts for Clayton Kershaw, 6 Ks and 1 walk, but 2 home runs allowed. Kershaw, in throwing over to first, brings up an interesting note. Clayton, combining with whoever his catcher is, has allowed 19 stolen bases, but they have caught 17. That's a good ratio. However, the Dodgers are really in the doldrums trying to defend against the stolen base as a team. The last time the Dodgers caught a base runner trying to steal was July 23rd. So the opposition has stolen 31 consecutive bases against the Dodgers. 31 straight. Oh, and 2 the count. Ibanez, the boy from a Cuban background. His mom was pregnant when the family left Cuba, and he was born in Manhattan in New York. 0-2 to Raul. Ball 1. On deck, Carlos Ruiz. When the Ibanez family left Cuba, his dad was a college-educated chemist, and he made a supreme sacrifice for his family. Close play at first. In order to get a travel visa to get the family out of Cuba, his father came out of the laboratory and went to work in the sugarcane fields, got the visa, and the family went to New York. As a Cuban scientist, however, couldn't find a job, so he had to go to work in a warehouse. Set a great tone for his son, Raul. Pitch up and in, down he goes. 7 strikeouts as Ibanez makes that long walk back to the dugout. 7 strikeouts, 2 home runs, a double and a single so far, given up by Kershaw. He's down 2-0. And here is Ruiz, who struck out in the 2nd inning. 2 out, 4th inning, 2-0 Philadelphia. Fastball missed. Ball 1. Barry Zito and Chad Billingsley Friday night. Matt Cain and Ted Lilly Saturday night. Jonathan Sanchez and Hiroki Kuroda Sunday evening. Then the Dodgers go on the road. San Diego, Houston, and San Francisco. 1-0. Dodgers finishing with the Eastern Division with this game with Philadelphia. They have 4 more out of the Western Division. That would be with Houston. Everything else will involve the Giants, the Padres, the Rockies, and the Diamondbacks right to the end. 2-0. Looked like either a change or a curveball that wouldn't curve. Had that happen a couple of times. 3-0 to count. Since Ruiz is followed by Oswalt, he's looking to see if they might green light him 3-0. And Barajas going out to remind Kershaw, don't relax now, 3-0. They might let him rip. Ruiz, after taking that long look, he has hit as many as 9 home runs in the big leagues. He has 6 now. And a strike. Didn't like the location. 3-1. Jason Worth, who is a very good base runner and base stealer. That's ball 4. So Oswald will be coming up, and Worth, who had stolen 9 out of 12, goes to second. Oswald struck out in the second inning. So Kershaw has walked 2, struck out 7, allowed 4 hits and 2 runs. Oh, and 1. Fought off a good fastball. Phillies had a home run, a leadoff home run by Jimmy Rollins. And then Shane Victorino led off the second inning with a home run, and that's it. 2-0 Philadelphia. Dodgers, no hits. They had Loney get to first on a walk, Barajas walk and get to second, and that's it. Kershaw, the pitches now are starting to mount up. This will be his 80th pitch. Fouled away. 80 pitches, and he's still in the 4th inning. So it's easy to figure at least 20 pitches an inning. That would be 180 pitches in the game, and there's no way. His high, 118 pitches, and twice 117. His least, 57. Ball 1. 1-2 to Roy Oswalt. 2 on, 2 out, 2-0 Philadelphia. One and 2. 2-2. Waiting on deck, Jimmy Rollins. And on the outside corner, Oswalt strikes out a second time. Again for the second time, Kershaw strikes out the side, but at the end of 3.5, he's losing 2-0. Now more than ever, the smart choice is CarMax by K-Swiss Tubes and by Jack's really big chicken sandwich combo, served with curly fries and a drink for only $3.99 plus tax at participating restaurants. On this beautiful day in Los Angeles, 83 degrees when the game started. The Phillies lead the Dodgers 2-0. Bottom of the 4th inning. The kids are ready for anything hit their way. And for Roy Oswalt, he has not allowed a hit in the first 3 innings. He has walked 2. Ethier, Kemp, and Lonier, the heart of the lineup, fouled away. Andre grounded to short in the first inning, 0 for 1, and Ruiz immediately out to talk to Oswald. Loney walked in the second inning, never left first base. In the third inning, Barajas walked. Kershaw sacrificed him, and he wound up staying at second. So the Dodgers haven't made a charge at Oswald yet. That's a strike. 0-2. No balls, 2 strikes. Fouled away. Remember all those numbers. Well, I don't expect you to remember the numbers, but remember we were talking about the fact that Oswald gets tougher each time through the lineup. Well, if he gets any tougher than he is, he's going to have a dandy here. 0-2. And down goes Ethier. 1 away. Time for you to do a little thinking. Have some fun. The trivia question. Who was the last National League team to appear in 3 straight World Series? Seems simple enough. See if you can come up with the answer. Matt Kemp flied to right in the second inning. That's a strike. Oswald has struck out 2. Kershaw has struck out 8. Another strike. And the fastball, and that takes care of Kemp on 3 pitches. So he just goes right after Ethier and Kemp. He now has 3 strikeouts. And James Loney a walk coming up. Roy Oswalt, O-S-W-A-L-T. Very much the country boy. They tell a story when he was pitching for Houston. There was game 6 of the National League Championship Series. The Astros had been rocked by losing game 5, a heartbreaker, thanks to Albert Pujols. And Oswald's going to pitch game 6. And he's sitting by himself in the locker room. And the owner of the Astros, Drayton McClain, comes in, trying to figure maybe he could give Oswald an encouraging word. And he knew his background as a farm boy out of Mississippi. So they got to talking, and McClain asked Roy Oswalt, what's your main goal? What is it, something you really want? And very innocently, Oswalt said, I would love to own a bulldozer. All 3. Well, McClain said, okay, you win the game tonight. I'll buy you a Caterpillar D6. And for a man who owns 40 acres, said, you got a deal. Well, he went out and won. And he got a Caterpillar D6 NXL. It's a bulldozer, all right. It is a huge bulldozer, usually associated with interstate highways. And that's a strike to Loney. 3-2. How much does a Caterpillar XXX bulldozer cost? $230,000. That's what he wanted. That's what he got. Way outside. So Loney picks up the second walk, and it comes with 2 out in the 4th inning. It'll bring up Casey Blake. So Oswalt has walked 3, and he has struck out 3, and now he has Casey Blake. As you can imagine, a boy from the South who loves a bulldozer. He's a big fan of NASCAR. So here's the boy from Iowa, the good egg from the bad egg state, Casey Blake. 2 runs, 4 hits for the Phils. Nothing across for the Dodgers. Ball 1. When you throw a high slider like that, sitting up here, you're not sure is that a high slider or a high cutter, because it just danced away from the zone. 1 ball and no strikes. In there. 1-1. Oswald did a nice thing. Oh, yeah, sure, it was a commercial enterprise, but it's still a very nice thing for the 500 people who live in Ware, Mississippi. If you want to go out, want to go for dinner or something in Ware, Mississippi, you've got to drive a good hour to find a restaurant. It's such a tiny town. So he had built a fish and steak house, not so much to make a lot of money, because he makes plenty anyway, but so the community would have a place to go without that long drive. 1-2. If you're down there in Ware, Mississippi, look for Home Plate Fish and Steakhouse, and you got it. 1-2 the count to Casey Blake. 2-0 Philadelphia. Bottom of the 4th inning. Off speed, foul back. Slow breaking ball, still 1-2. On deck, Ronnie Belliard. Just fouled off, so it's still 1-2. 2 runs, 4 hits for the Phillies, no runs, no hits for the Dodgers, and we're in the 4th inning. Jimmy Rollins led off the game for the 35th time with a home run. Shane Victorino led off the 2nd inning with a home run, and that's it. Two and two. Boy, he had him all set up with those sliders away. Tried to hit the fastball on the inside corner and just missed. 2-2. Loney, short lead at first, held on by Howard. And again trying to hit that corner. 3-2. Maybe overthrowing just a little bit. Back-to-back pitches at 95, and not quite a smooth follow through on the last pitch. Loney ready to go on the full count. Three and two. Loney goes, and it's fouled at the plate. So far for Casey Blake, it's an 8-pitch at bat. If nothing else, trying to take something out of Oswald. 2-0 Phils, bottom of the 4th. As far as other games are concerned, scores and setups for the day, we can pass them along. We can tell you the Astros are leading the Cardinals 5-2, and the Cardinals started the day 4 back of Philadelphia, and there's ball 4 to Blake. So with 2 out, back-to-back walks will bring up Ronnie Belliard, and that's 4 walks given up by Roy Oswalt. Matt Holliday hit his 24th home run for St. Louis. Hunter Pence hit a 3-run home run, his 21st, to put the Astros out in front. Padres and D-backs, that'll be later today. Matt Latos and Barry Enright. 6:15 tonight, the Rockies and Giants. Ubaldo Jimenez and Tim Lincecum. That's a strike to Belliard. Boy, Lincecum is really messed up, isn't he? What is he, 0-5 or 0-6 in his last starts? I think it's 0-5. That's a strike. So quickly, after working hard and walking Loney 3-2 and Blake 3-2, Oswalt comes right back 0-2 against Belliard, who flied to left field in the second inning. Still 0-2, that hard slider, and Ronnie just did get a little of it going by. 2 runs, 4 hits for the Phils. No runs, no hits for the Dodgers. It's early. We're only in the 4th. Ruiz going out there a lot, but of course Oswalt is a relatively new member of the Philadelphia Phillies. This would be his 5th game. He has a record of 3-1. 0-2. Got him on a high fastball, and he's out of the inning. So Oswalt strikes out the side. The Dodgers lead 2, and at the end of 4, it's still 2-0 Philadelphia. The leadoff man, Jimmy Rollins, who homered, then Chase Utley, Placido Polanco on a beautiful sunshiny day, 83 degrees, not a cloud up there. Rollins 1 for 2 and a strike. Looks like there might be, I don't know if it's humidity or a sandstorm, but out there in center field, the mountains are a bit obscured. 0-2 the count. Rollins, who came in here with 2 hits in his last 34 at bats. That's what you see today, that haze. 0-2. And popped up, foul ground. Here comes Barajas. Nice play for Rod. 1 away. Remember the trivia question? We were talking about the last National League team to appear in 3 straight World Series. And you're right on the money. If you can remember the St. Louis Cardinals, 1942, 43, and 44. Whitey Kurowski, Marty Marion, Stan Musial, and others. Howie Paulette. Right. Utley doubled and flied to left. Double to right center. 1 for 2. We alluded before to the troubles of Tim Lincecum. And I wasn't sure if he was 0 of his last 5 or 6. Last 5 starts, not only is Lincecum a consecutive year Cy Young Award winner, 0-5, his earned run average is almost 8. He had really lost it trying to recover tonight. Popped up near the mound. It will be Loney and Belliard. And of course, that's Kershaw's fault. I mean, Kershaw has nothing else to do out there but direct traffic. He's going to stand and watch and say, now, okay, somebody. Here comes Belliard and Loney. Loney's the taller of the two, but Belliard made the catch. But you can get in trouble. 2 out. And the batter, Polanco. Ball 1. Polanco struck out, single allowed, 1 for 2. Two and 0. Kershaw has allowed 2 runs, a home run each time, 4 total hits. He has walked 2, he has struck out 8, and he has struck out the side twice. Oswalt has struck out the side once. Remember, we told you in the daytime the opponents are hitting .201 against Kershaw and .207 against Oswalt. Fouled away, 2-2. Zito and Billingsley Friday night, Kane and Lilly Saturday night, Sanchez and Kuroda Sunday evening. 2-2. 3-2. Kershaw had made 83 pitches in the first 4 innings. So the pitch count beginning to play a factor in the game. Ground ball wide of third. Blake is on it. High throw, toe dance by Loney, and down goes Polanco. So we're heading to the bottom of the 5th inning, and it's still 2-0 Philadelphia. The Hyundai keys to the game would be the pitching, the battle between Oswalt and Kershaw, and they match up fairly well, except, as you can see, Kershaw's made more pitches. One reason is he has struck out 8. But of course, the big thing that jumps out, Oswald has not allowed a hit as we go to the 5th inning. Barajas, Kershaw, and Posednik fouled away. We told you Barajas has had a very successful string of at-bats against the Phillies. Started the game hitting .487 against his old club, and he has 8 home runs against them in only 12 games. 1-1. Always remember years ago, veteran catcher and manager Bertie Tebbetts. And Bertie said, as a catcher, when I played, I always felt I could hit anybody I caught. Maybe you learn what's coming up, huh? 1-2. And a high fly ball, shallow right, a trio, but it's the right fielder Worth who overran the ball. Off his glove and into second base goes Barajas. And certainly the sun, I think, had a lot to do with that one. So Utley slanted over. Howard went back. Worth came in. It was Jason's play. And he reached up and he had overrun it. And he will draw an error. So Jason Worth overrunning that high fly ball in the brilliant sunlight. Sometimes on days like today, you wonder how they ever catch a ball. I mean, you and I bet you could not get hit on the head. You would never be that close. Throw back, not in time. That was a purpose pitch. That was all set up. They wanted to drive Kershaw away and take a shot at Barajas. 1 ball and no strikes. Now, as you know, Kershaw is a wonderful bunter. He sacrificed in the 3rd, and he gets it down again. The out at first base to Utley. That's 16 sacrifices for Clayton Kershaw. And the Dodgers now, without a hit, have a runner at 3rd. Oral Hershiser back in 1988, the championship year. Oral had 19 sacrifices, and Kershaw now has 16. So here's Posednik lined out to center, check swing comebacker to Oswald. Scotty 0 for 2, and a strike. Placido Polanco on the edge of the grass at 3rd. Howard shortens up a little bit at 1st. Barajas down the line from 3rd. 2-0 Philadelphia. 5th inning. Little foul ball. That'll go back into the stands. 0-2. Nice catch down there. And again, Ruiz out there to counsel the veteran Roy Oswald. Meanwhile, Charlie Manuel watching him so carefully. As we mentioned throughout the series, the Charlie Manuel story is a dandy out of the hills of West Virginia. 0-2. Barajas a very short lead. And a big out as Posednik strikes out. 5 strikeouts for Roy Oswald. And the batter now, Jamie Carroll. We mentioned that Roy Oswald is from a little town, Ware, Mississippi. And early April, you not only said where, you said where is it? And it's only a play on words and nothing more. Ball 1. Ware, Mississippi was hit by a tornado. It destroyed the home of his parents. They said that some of the jerseys Oswald wore when he was rookie with the Astros, they were found hanging in trees, in what was left of the surrounding trees. The trophy that he won for being the most valuable player in the 2005 League Championship Series that was broken into pieces. Trees that had stood for decades were snapped off, and his childhood home a pile of bricks, broken timber, and shattered memories. But fortunately, his parents were not injured. His dad was away on a hunting accident. What happened to his mom was really something. That's going to go down the line foul. When the tornado hit, Roy's mom, Jean, sought shelter in a closet. And when the chaos was over, Jean looked up to find a Bible that was in the front part of the house, had landed at her feet. The tornado that hit Ware, Mississippi. 2-2. They said the tornado was blamed for 10 deaths, including 5 in Choctaw County, where Ware is located. So Roy's been through a lot. Deuce is wild on Carroll. Barajas down the line from third. Big pitch. And a fly ball to right field. Worth with a second chance. Not going to muff this one. So for 5 innings, Roy Oswalt has not allowed a hit. And at the end of 5, it's 2-0 Philadelphia. And the Giants were playing the Dodgers on this date, September 1st of '44. Mel Ott was the manager of the Giants. Leo DeRocher managed the Dodgers. I'm not quite sure what happened. However, they made an agreement in the game. Joe Medwick was hit by a pitch. He was playing for the Giants, hit on the arm. DeRocher said, I'll tell you what, Mel, I will let you put a runner in for Medwick, and then he can come back into the game, which normally would be against the rules. And Ott said, okay. So what did DeRocher do? He picked the oldest, slowest runner, Gus Mancuso, a catcher, and the game continued, and Medwick came back. Interesting on this day. Let's go back to this one. Clayton Kershaw still trailing 2-0 on the early home runs by Jimmy Rollins and Shane Victorino. So Howard, Worth, and Victorino up here in the 6th inning. 1-1. Howard trying to uppercut a letter high fastball. Kershaw has struck out 8. He has struck out the side twice. And a drive into right center. Ethier will have to chase it to the wall. Howard is on his way for 2, and he's in there with the stand-up double. For Ryan Howard, that would be his 18th double. So for the Phillies, they have 5 hits, 2 doubles, 2 home runs, and a single. Big Ryan getting all that 255 pounds of his behind that swing. So it's 2-0 Philadelphia. Now they try to get Howard home. And here is Jason Worth. Ronald Belisario gets up in the Dodger bullpen. Among other things, Kershaw's pitch count is starting to get up. He had 95 pitches in the first 5 innings. Worth topped the ball out in front of the plate and walked 0 for 1. Off speed, drops in nicely. 0-2. There you are, 100 pitches in the 6th inning. 0-2 to Jason Worth. And down he goes. That's 9 strikeouts for Kershaw. 1 out. And Victorino coming up. Back on April the 17th last year, you may or may not remember, Kershaw struck out 13 Giants. And of course, that's when we started to think of him as Kershaw and Koufax. With the 13 strikeouts, he became the youngest pitcher in franchise history to strike out at least 13. Sandy, in his second big league start, struck out 14 back in Ebbets Field in Brooklyn. So Clayton has 9, and he has Victorino, no balls and 1 strike. 2-0 Phils, 6th inning. Ryan Howard at second base. And the Giants coming Friday night. Big breaking ball down and dirty. 0-2. So Howard with that long double leading off. Worth strikes out. And Victorino 0-2. Shane with 16 home runs. 59 runs batted in. You don't think of him as power. You think him of speed in the dirt. He had 14 home runs in 2008. 10 home runs last year. So 16, that's a career high. He hit 16 in the International League. Added 2 more for 18. That's his all-time high as a pro. 1-2. 2-2. 16 home runs. That's a lot of home runs for a guy who's 5'9" and weighs maybe 175. Makes you start thinking of somebody like Joe Morgan. 2-2. Got him. Fastball outside corner. He was annoyed in the 4th inning, and he is annoyed again here in the 6th. 10 strikeouts for Clayton Kershaw, but he's still losing 2-0. Victorino thought better. Looked like he was going to let go, but he kept himself in control. But he's hot, that's for sure. So with 2 out, here's Ibanez. He struck out twice today. Raul 0 for 2. And 1. Kershaw struck out Ibanez, Ruiz, and Oswalt in the 2nd. He struck out Victorino and Ibanez and Oswalt in the 4th. Now he's striking out Worth and Victorino. And he has Ibanez 0-2. Kershaw hoping for an offense. Dodgers do not have a hit through 5 innings against Oswalt. Oh, and 2. Ball 1. Ibanez hitting .259. Howard at second base. Ibanez 12 home runs, 64 runs batted in. And he strikes out Ibanez a 3rd time. That is the 11th strikeout. Clayton has struck out the side 3 times today, but as they say on Broadway, how'd you come out? He's losing 2. Cam on Jimmy Rollins right after the anthem, and Rollins hurries one out into the pavilion, and just like that, before the chairs were warm at all, it was 1-0 in favor of Rollins and the Phils. Well, then later Victorino homered to make it 2-0, and that's it. Couple of notes in this battle. Kershaw has struck out 11, his high is 13. Clayton has 191 strikeouts, so he just passed Roy Halladay for the lead. He's also made 110 pitches, so we'll see if he's going to go back out there or not. Kenley Jansen gets up in the Dodger bullpen. 1-1 the count to Andre Ethier. So Jansen came into the game last night as a pinch hitter and singled. Now in the pen. Ethier grounded out, struck out. Oswalt has 5 strikeouts, but he's not allowed to hit. On a warm Southern California day, you don't feel the tension, the excitement, the drama of what Oswalt has done yet. With Kuroda, it kept building and building, although you don't really take things seriously until you get to the 7th inning. So Oswalt in the 6th, Ethier, Kemp, and Loney. It got away, but Ruiz picks it up, and the outs recorded at first. 6 strikeouts for Oswalt. And we have 1 out in the 6th inning.
Dodger center fielder number 27, Matt Kemp.
So Ethier misses it. It gets by Ruiz, and the out recorded at first. Lowest hit game ever pitched by Oswalt. He had a 1-hitter. Actually, he's had 2 1-hitters in his career. The last one was July this year. He had a 1-hitter against the Pittsburgh Pirates. Today, nothing yet except some walks. Struck out 6, walked 4. 0-2 to Matt Kemp. Matt flied to right and struck out, hitting .254. And 2. Ball 1. Oswalt in that somewhat unusual stance on the rubber we showed you earlier. Right foot right on the edge of the first base side and his left foot in front. So he pushes off and kind of hurtles at the hitter. Two and two. Inside and outside. The slider away, followed by the fastball in. 2-2 to Kemp. And a little ground ball slowly. Rollins has to hurry with Kemp and just does nip him. 2 down in the 6th inning. Close play at first. And the batter, James Loney. Ball was not hit hard, and you know Kemp runs very well. Rollins gets it over there. Then we have 2 down. You know, we mentioned it earlier how Oswalt gets tougher and tougher as he goes through the lineup the 2nd time, the 3rd time, the 4th time. In his first 11 batters, he struck out 1. In the last 11 batters, he has struck out 5. 1-0 the count. The man from Ware, Mississippi. Ware is spelled W-E-I-R. Ball 2. Roy is an even 6, about 185. He was 33 on the 29th of August. Came to the big leagues with the Astros in 2001. Had back-to-back years where he won 20. Won 20 in 2004, 20 in 2005. Another high would be 2006. He won 17. And for Loney, the one man he's had trouble with, he's walked him all 3 times.
Coming to the plate, Dodgers third baseman, number 23.
So he's walked 5. Loney 3 times, Blake once, and Barajas once. Dodgers have gotten 1 man to 3rd. That's when Barajas fly ball, and Jason Worth kind of ran out from under it, reached back, and it went off his glove for an error. And Kershaw sacrificed Barajas to 3rd. And that's it. And a line drive, right field, base hit. Worth plays it on a hop. Over to 3rd goes Loney, and the spell is broken. And again, like Victorino the other night, Casey Blake, a line drive, clean as a whistle single. So the Dodgers get a hit with 2 out in the 6th inning. And the batter now, Ronnie Belliard. So the Dodgers, in a sense, get their first look at the game. They're down 2-0, and they have 2 base runners. Belliard flied to left hard and struck out on a high fastball. Ball 1. Two runs, 5 hits for the Phils. 2 home runs, really. No runs, 1 hit for the Dodgers. In there. With Oswald a runner at third, we look and find he has 2 wild pitches this year. 1 ball and 1 strike. Chasing that sinking fastball off the plate. 1-2. So Ronnie went after a ball for strike 3 that was up. This time chasing one. So you know he's pressing a bit, hitting 220. One ball and 2 strikes. 2 out, first and third. 2-0 Phils. 2-2. Oswald hurtling off the mound, showing his back to the hitter, so he was trying to get a little extra on that. Light breeze blowing from left to right. Two and two. And a pop fly. It'll be Utley fighting the sun. So the Dodgers get 1 hit, lead 2, and at the end of 6, it remains Phillies 2, Dodgers nothing. Brought to you by your Southern California Ford dealers, where you'll find the new Transit Connect. Check it out at scforddealers.com. By Corona Light. And by Toyota. Get a great deal on Toyota's full line of hybrid and fuel-efficient vehicles at your Toyota dealer today. We move to the 7th inning here at Dodger Stadium. It's still 2-0 Philadelphia. It's been that way since Victorino homered in the 2nd inning. And Kenley Jansen, the big right-hander, will now pick up for Clayton Kershaw. Another tremendous effort by Kershaw. 110 pitches, 6 innings. He allowed 2 runs, 4 hits, and struck out 11. Also for Clayton Kershaw, he had a rather amazing number of no-ball, 2-strike counts. He had 12 0-2, but the one he'll remember, the fact that Shane Victorino homered on one of those no-ball, 2-strike pitches. So Jansen working to Ruiz, the catcher, then Oswald and Rollins. 0-1. Ryan Theriot, in a double switch, takes over at second base. So if you're keeping score, Theriot bats 9th. He'll bat 2nd in the 7th inning. Jansen is in Belliard's spot. 0-2. Belliard had one of those games hard to get over if you're a regular player. Down goes Ruiz. So 12 Phillies have struck out. One now for Jansen. Belliard flied to left with a runner on in the second inning. He struck out with 2 on in the fourth and popped up with runners at first and third in the sixth. But of course they all go through those kind of a game. So here's Oswalt, struck out twice. Ball 1. One ball and no strikes. 1-1. Oswalt will be backed up in the pen. The left-hander whom we've seen, J.C. Romero, and the right-hander whom we've seen, Chad Durbin. Oswalt has made 107 pitches. The Phillies don't give you pitch counts. We do know that when Oswalt beat the Dodgers back on the 11th of August, he made 109 pitches in 7 innings. So he's made 107 pitches in 6 innings. And he's allowed just 1 hit. 2-2. Kuroda 1 hits the Phils. Dodgers win 3-0. Oswalt is 1 hitting the Dodgers. Phils lead 2-0. And for Roy, he strikes out a third time. 2 strikeouts for Jansen. 13 Phils have bitten the dust. And now Jimmy Rollins, who will turn around to bat left-handed. Rollins led off the ball game with the home run against Kershaw. Jimmy has 35 leadoff home runs in his career. He's had 2 this year. 35 openers, and he has 1 walk-off. 1-1. Rollins 1 for 3, hitting .242. Two and 1. Talking about Belliard having a tough day. Raul Ibanez in left field. Not only 0 for 3, he has struck out all 3 times. 2-1. Ball 3. The kid from Curacao, Kenley Jansen. And he walks Rollins. So the 2-out walk will bring up Chase Utley.
Second baseman, number 26.
Jimmy Rollins at first base has stolen 15 out of 16. So we'll see if they run him with 2 out. Utley doubled to right center, flied to left, and popped up. All 3 at bats were against Kershaw. Chase hitting .266. Phillies do not make outs on the base paths. They're 16th in caught stealing, 15th in runners picked off, And ball one. Charlie Manuel with a well-disciplined base running team. They make contact. They're 15th in the rate of strikeouts to plate appearances. They don't hit into double plays. They have grounded into 94 double plays. But that puts them 11th in the league. One ball, no strikes. And there goes Rollins. The pitch is low. The throw off line. And a nice stolen base easily for Jimmy Rollins. So he's stolen 16 out of 17. Now Utley trying to pick him up on a 2-0 count. Throw saved by Jamie Carroll. That thing was heading into right center field. Two and 0. They're very aggressive in this count, so you got to figure Utley, if it's anywhere around the plate, will be swinging. Yep, fouled it off. 2-1. The Phils have gotten brilliant pitching from Roy Oswalt, and they have 2 home runs by Rollins and Victorino. However, with runners in scoring position, they're not only 0 for 7, they have struck out 6 of the 7 times. So Rollins is out there, Utley trying to pick him up. 2 out, Ruiz and Oswalt each struck out. When the Dodgers come up in the 7th, they'll have Barajas, Terrio, and Posednik. And a high fly ball into left center. Posednik on the track and tries to make the catch and can't do it. Rollins will score on the long double, and the Phillies lead 3-0. So Posednik running parallel to the wall, but couldn't make it. And Rollins scoring easily. So Utley comes up with his second double and a run batted in. Posednik reached up, but just could not get it. And Matt Kemp had to come over and retrieve. So near and yet so far for Scott Posednik. 3-0 Phils. Polanco has struck out, single, grounded out, and 1 ball and no strikes. So the walk, the stolen base, and then the long double by Utley. If the Phillies win today, not only do the Dodgers tumble back another notch, but Charlie Manuel's club will have won 11 of the last 12 day games, and they will have won another series. 3-0 the count to Polanco. So big Kenley Jansen out of Curaçao in the Netherlands. He'll be 23 on September the 30th. The catcher converted to pitcher. And he walks Polanco. That means Ryan Howard will be coming up. So 13 Phillies have struck out. 4 have walked. Rick Honeycutt gone out to talk to Jansen. And here's Ryan Howard. Howard struck out, grounded out, and doubled. And of course, he's the big man in the attack with 246 home runs. His biggest year when he hit the 58 home runs, they broke it down to show you how powerful he is. 25 of the 58 went to left field. Another 16 went to center, which meant only 17 of Ryan Howard's home runs, he pulled to right field. Then in '07, he hit him again all over the ballpark when he totaled 47, and he's doing it again this year. In fact, Ryan Howard is 5th best in RBIs per game ever. His name is linked already to Lou Gehrig, Hank Greenberg, Joe DiMaggio, Babe Ruth, and Brian. So the big boy out of St. Louis, the show me state, and ball 1. 2 on, a run in, 3-0 in favor of Philadelphia. One ball and no strikes. For Philadelphia, leading the Dodgers 3-0, they get the news the Astros have beaten the Cardinals 5-2. The Cardinals are on a 10-game road trip, and they've lost 8 of the 10, and all against clubs who are under 500 in winning percentage. That's fouled away. So the Cardinals have now lost 5 straight, 8 out of 10. And they've just stopped dead in the water to make it a lot easier for Cincinnati. And in the wild card race, should Philadelphia win, the Cardinals will drop 5 back. Big bouncer, up with it is Loney, needs Jansen, and the big guy's there. However, with 2 out, a walk, a stolen base, and a double for a run, and at the end of 6.5, 3-0 Philadelphia, the crowd now asked to join in God Bless America and Take Me Out to the Ball. against one of the premier pitchers in the league, so there's no real surprise there. Oswald working on a one-hitter in the 7th inning against Barajas, then Terrio and Posednik. Barajas has walked and reached on an error. One of 2 Dodgers to get as far as third base today. 1-1. Roy Oswald had made 107 pitches coming into the 7th inning, and we find out his high is 119. Off speed popped up. It'll be Utley fighting the glare. Boy, it is tough up there. 1 away. These fellas are amazing how they ever catch some of these balls. Once in a blue moon, you'll see a play that happened with Jason Worth, who's a fine defensive outfielder. Kind of overran a towering fly ball, lunged back and went off his glove for an error. But they make the most difficult plays look so easy. And it's not easy at all. Not even a little. Here's Terrio. Ball 1. Ryan hitting .289, 2 home runs, 29 runs batted in. Upended the other night on a hard but legitimate slide by Jason Worth. Didn't play yesterday, but he's in there now. 1 ball and 1 strike. (3-0) Philadelphia. 1 away in the 7th. Ball 2. The one hitter who has given Oswald a bad time has not done anything with the bat. It's James Loney, who walked 3 times. The only Dodger hit, line drive single to right field by Casey Blake. Now Oswald is behind 3-1. So Casey sitting back in the cool of the dugout. Kenley Jansen. Oswald has walked 5 while striking out 6. And ball 4. So Terrio draws the walk. We can take a look at Oswald's strikeouts. It started in the 1st inning when he got Jamie Carroll. Then after Carroll he got hot. He struck out Ethier, then he got Kemp, and then he got Jansen. Moving along, he got Posednik in the 5th inning. That was a big one. And then Ethier again in the 6th. So those were the Hyundai keys to the game so far for Roy Oswald. But now let's see. I think Charlie Manuel is going to take the ball out of his hand. Yep. With the Dodgers having Posednik coming up, they're going to bring in J.C. Romero. So Roy Oswald pitches a one-hitter, gets a well-deserved round of applause as he comes out in the 7th inning, leading 3-0, and we'll be back. 15 pitches. His high this year was 119. He went 6 1/3. Did not allow a run, just one hit, a line drive single to right field by Casey Blake. The only thing that really got in his way was his lack of control. He struck out 6, but that was canceled out by walking 6. So he gives the ball up now to left-handed J.C. Romero, who is making his 3rd appearance each game. J.C. out of Puerto Rico, originally drafted by the Twins, went to the University of Mobile. Originally, he was an outfielder when he was in college. Ball 1 to Posednik, lined out to center, hit back to the box, and struck out. Romero, 23 walks, 24 strikeouts, so he's fighting it for sure. And he immediately falls behind 2-0. Romero pitched the 7th inning last night and got the side out on 3 ground balls. In there. In the first game, he came in the 8th inning, made 14 pitches, allowed an infield single, and then got the 2 outs. 2-1. Phillies with a run in the first, home run by Rollins, home run in the second by Shane Victorino, and then Utley's double drove in the 3rd run. Ground ball to the right side, quick feed for 1, quick double play. So Romero gets Posednik to hit into the double play, a quick 7th, and at the end of 7, it's 3-0 Philadelphia. Phillies leading the Dodgers 3-0 as we go to the 8th inning. Ronald Belisario will come out of the Dodger bullpen. So Kershaw went 6, allowed 2 runs, 5 hits, walked 2 while striking out 11. And then Jansen allowed 1 run, 1 hit, 2 walks, and struck out 2. And now Belisario. Belisario, remember, missed about 29 games from July into August. Reinstated, though he's had kind of a bumpy ride this year. 2-1. And a strike to Jason Worth. Worth chopped the ball out in front of the plate. Barajas threw him out. Walked in the 4th inning, and Jason struck out in the 6th. Fastball missed, 1-1. The Phillies will leave here and go to Colorado. They play a night game tomorrow night, a makeup game. They were rained out with the Rockies earlier. Then they will fly all night to go back to Philadelphia. They figure to get in around 4 o'clock in the morning and play that night. Later on, the Dodgers have a similar situation. On the 8th, the Dodgers play in San Diego, a night game, and then fly to Houston, and they figure to get to Houston about 4:30 in the morning and play that night. One of the oldest expressions in baseball: those who make the schedules don't make the trips. Down goes Worth. So he strikes out a second time. Belisario picks up a strikeout, and it means 14 Phillies have struck out, and we're in the 8th inning. But they're winning 3-0. Now Victorino, the switch hitter, homered right-handed. Struck out in the 4th, struck out in the 6th, all 3 at-bats right-handed. Now turning around to hit from the left side. Ground ball to the hole by Theriot into right field. So Victorino, a home run and a single today. And the batter will be Raul Ibanez.
Next, left fielder, Raul
Ibanez is a hungry hitter, as Victorino stands at first. Ibanez struck out in the 2nd, struck out in the 4th, and struck out in the 6th. Ibanez has struck out 87 times this year. Well, of course, that's well over 500 plate appearances. Strike. Victorino at first base has stolen 24 out of 27. Rollins stole in the 7th inning. He's stolen 16 out of 17. When the Dodgers come up in the bottom of the 8th inning, and they've been tied in knots by Oswald, it'll be Carroll, Ethier, and Kemp. One ball and one strike. Kershaw, Jansen, and Belisario for the Dodgers. Oswald and Romero for the Phils. Ground ball up the middle. Theriot, the quick feed to Carroll. See you later. So, boy, that's a tough day for Raul Ibanez, huh? He strikes out 3 times and hits into a double play, but it's all in the life of a big leaguer. 3-0 Philadelphia. left-hander, Oswald and Kershaw. Oswald was wild. He walked 6 while striking out 6. Kershaw spent a lot of pitches striking out people and wound up striking out 11. But the biggest difference between the two would be home runs allowed by Kershaw, the home run by Jimmy Rollins, and the home run by Shane Victorino, and then Oswald refusing to give anything until a base hit in the 6th inning. Romero got the double play on Posednik in the 7th, and now Ryan Madsen will face Carroll, Ethier, and Kemp here in the 8th inning. Ryan's a big boy, 6'6", born in Long Beach, lives in Moreno Valley, went to Valley View High School. Madsen worked an inning, had 1 strikeout. That's a strike. Ryan has pitched very effectively in 15 games here at Dodger Stadium, and Carroll is 0 for 3. And that's going to be hit into left center, base hit. So the Dodgers come up with their 2nd hit, a single by Carroll. And with Jamie at first, Andre Ethier coming up. Dodgers against Madsen. Ethier 1 for 8. Carroll 4 for 8. Carroll hitting .500 against the right-hander, and Ethier trying to get something going. Grounded to short, struck out in the 4th, struck out in the 6th. All 3 appearances against Oswald. 0-1. We mentioned that Madsen has pitched well here. In 16 games against the Dodgers, an earned run average of 2. He's had 1 start and 8 career appearances here, and he's 1-0. That's lifted to center. Victorino has a play, fighting the sun. Boy, everything hit in the air is a threat. 1 away.
Dodger center fielder, number 27, Matt Kemp.
So Victorino stays with that high fly ball, and now Matt Kemp fly to right, struck out, grounded to short. 0 for 3. Ryan Madsen was a little rusty as he gets ready to pitch to Kemp. Ryan had a broken right toe. Ball 1. So he was on the shelf from the end of April through the first week in July. Opposition is hitting 125 against him. Throws hard. There's a hopper to Rollins, and he bobbles it, throws late to second, and instead of a double play, the Dodgers now have James Loney coming up as a possible tying run. Sometimes we all do things in a hurry, and sometimes you pay the price. He was all set to start the double play. So an error charge to Rollins. Safely at second is Carroll, and this is the best moment for the Dodgers all day. Dodgers had a runner at third in the 5th inning after Worth had dropped the fly ball. They had first and third with 2 out in the 6th. Now first and second with 1 out. Loney has walked 3 times today and drives it to right. That's going to go over the head of Worth and off the scoreboard. 1 run will score, and Matt Kemp apparently lost sight of the ball. He's at second base. Matt Kemp was not sure. Maybe he thought that Larry Boa was going to stop Carroll. But on a ball off the right field wall, Matt is only at second base. So James Loney, a long single to right. Carroll scores, but Kemp only goes to second base. So with Matt's speed on a ball off the wall, you figure he'd go from first to third. But he's at second, and the batter is Casey Blake as the Dodgers now trail 3-1. Casey had flied to right and walked, and then singled in the 6th inning. Ground ball to short. Rollins goes to the bag and guns it to first for the double play. No error that time. So the Dodgers wind up with 1. And at the end of 8, Phillies 3, Dodgers 1. Of every adult ticket on the field are Lowe's level. Kids 14 and under, just $5. For details, visit Dodgers.com/specials. 3-1 in favor of the Phillies, and we're in the 9th inning. Carlos Ruiz, then it'll be Dominic Brown to bat for Madsen and Jimmy Rollins. Ruiz struck out twice and walked. Strike 0-1. The Phillies, who have avoided the strikeout, Jimmy Rollins, who is 1 for 3 and scored twice. Chase Utley, 2 for 4 with 2 doubles. Everybody else has bitten the dust at least once. Ground ball to the left of short. Jamie's on it. 1 away. So Dominic Brown will now come up and bat for Ryan Madsen. Brad Lidge, the closer, is up in the Philadelphia bullpen. They're all trying to give Roy Oswalt his 10th win of the year. Roy was magnificent. His control was off. And he still only allowed 1 hit in 6 1/3 innings. So here is Brown, only 22 years old, hitting .220 with 2 home runs, 12 runs batted in, and ball 1. Dominic Brown from Zephyr Hills, Florida, now lives in Georgia. Little foul ball. He's 6'5", a little over 200 pounds. Not only a fine baseball player, he came from the same high school that produced Brandon Phillips of the Reds. But Brown was also a star football talent. He was a wide receiver. A lot of people wanted him. 1-1. Ball 2. Brown emerged as a prospect, as a pitcher. He's now an outfielder, but he was an even bigger star as a wide receiver. He got football scholarship from the University of Miami, but instead signed with the Phillies just 4 years ago. That's right, 2-2. A lot of people who have watched him every day say he reminds them a little bit of Darryl Strawberry. His uncle, I think we mentioned, we used to call him the lad from La Hoochie, Mudcat Grant. A drive to left, and Plesetnik on the dead run. Can't get it. It bounces into the stands, and it's a ground rule double for young Dominic Brown. He was heading back to the dugout. He thought the ball had been caught. So Brown, a wrong field double to left. And the batter now will be Jimmy Rollins. Seeing Brown lose sight of the ball and think he's made the out, starts to turn to say, Brownie, you have yourself a double. And Joe Torre's going out to the mound. There's a theory, we don't really know, to be honest. Remember on that ball that Loney hit that went off the scoreboard in right field, Matt Kemp, chances are 99 to 100 to 1. Kemp is going to go from first to third on that. At first thought, we thought, well, maybe Matt lost the flight of the ball. And the other theory is, no, he might have missed second base and then had to go back. As it turned out, it wasn't that important because Blake hit into a double play. So it's 3-1 Phillies. That'll be all for Ronald Belisario, and we'll be back. And Utley trying to pick him up. And for the Dodgers, they will bring in Hung-Chi Kuo. That would turn Rollins around to bat right-handed, and then he'd be able to go head-to-head against Utley. Hung-Chi Kuo, as he tunes up, Rollins is 0 for 4 against him with 2 strikeouts. Utley 1 for 4. Kuo did not pitch last night. He did work the 8th inning of game 1, and he got Mike Sweeney and then the side in the 9th. So here's Jimmy, led off the game with a home run, walked, stole a base, scored a run in the 7th inning. Batting .242. Ball 1. Dodgers in the 9th will have a hitter for Kuo, then Barajas and Terrio. That's a strike. Hung-Chi Kuo is 3-2. Brilliant earned run average, 1.2. He has walked 15 and struck out 57. And a line drive base hit. Here comes Daddy Longlegs to the plate. Kemp's throw is not in time. The Brown brings it in, and it is 4-1 Philadelphia. So Matt Kemp throws a perfect strike to Barajas, but lanky Dominic Brown, who didn't realize he hit a double, did realize he had a chance to score on the base hit. So Jimmy Rollins, who had been really fighting a terrific slump, has a walk, a single, and a home run. And he opens it up 4-1. The hit is charged to Kuo. The run is charged to Belisario. And with Jimmy at second on the throw to the plate, Utley trying to pick him up. Utley has doubled twice today, flied to left and popped up. And a strike. 4 runs, 9 hits, 2 errors for the Phils, 1 run, 3 hits for the Dodgers. Barely more than a murmur of protest against Messrs. Oswalt, Romero, and Madsen. And Brad Lidge will be pitching the 9th. 0-2. So the Phillies are now starting to hit with runners in scoring position. They were 0 for 7 with 6 strikeouts. But Utley doubled in Rollins from second in the 7th inning. And now Rollins has singled in Brown here in the 9th. Friday night, the Giants will be here. Barry Zito and Chad Billingsley. Matt Cain and Ted Lilly Saturday night. Jonathan Sanchez and Hiroki Kuroda Sunday evening. Fastball hit down the left field line, slicing away from Posednik and bouncing into the stands. So it's a ground rule double for Utley. His 3rd double. That picks up Rollins, and it is 5-1 Philadelphia. So Utley with 3 doubles. Posednik trying to get there, but no chance. Over shifting towards left center with Utley up there, and he just could not run it down. So Kuo comes in and gives up a single and a double and a run. Phillies with a comfortable 5-1 lead. And Placido Polanco. For Utley to have that fly ball double down the left field line, that's a bit of news for a left-hand hitter to come up with a base hit against Kuo. But of course, you're not talking about just another left-hand hitter. You're talking about a dandy. It's only the 6th hit by a left-hander against Kuo this year. 6 for 54. That means a 111 batting average. And also, that double by Chase Utley is the first extra base hit. One ball and 1 strike. 2 doubles and a single in the inning. Phillies have scored twice and lead 5-1. And with 1 out, you have Polanco at the plate, and on deck Ryan Howard. One ball and 2 strikes. Polanco has struck out and singled, grounded out and walked. 1 for 3. Foul back. The paid attendance on this lovely Wednesday afternoon, 37,080. 37,080. Watching Jimmy Rollins have a walk, a single, a home run, a stolen base, and score 3 times. 2-2. As far as the wild card is concerned, the Dodgers are just about falling out of the pack. Losing today, they will be 7.5 back of Philadelphia with 28 games left. Fouled away. Giants play tonight against the Rockies. Padres play in a little while against the D-backs, and the Astros beat the Cardinals 5-2. So figure that Philadelphia wins. The Cardinals will trail by 5. Boy, the Cardinals just disappeared, didn't they? Losing 8 out of 10 on their road trip. Fly ball, slicing foul back into the chairs. Still 2-2. Of course, among other things for Philadelphia, they're not only trying to be firmly ensconced atop of the wild card, they're still very much alive in the Eastern Division. They are 3 behind Atlanta. The Braves, playing pretty well, have won 4 straight. 2-2. And ball 3. Placido Polanco came into the game having walked 21 times and struck out 42. Another foul ball. 42 strikeouts in over 500 plate appearances. He has always been a very knowledgeable hitter, and hitting over 300 again. Came in hitting 307. 3-2 to Placido. And a line drive caught by Quo. On a bounce is the throw, in time for a double play. And what a play by Jamie Carroll. Because the throw by Quo, he wasn't quite sure as the infielders converged on the bag, and as the runner tried to go back, and Jamie makes a terrific save for the double play. 3 outs away from falling 7.5 games behind in the wild card. And of course, with the thought there are 28 more games to play, small consolation that they were losing to one of the better pitchers in the league in Roy Oswalt, but at the same time they had their young 22-year-old Kershaw striking out 11, and they couldn't get anything for him. So with all of that, Andre Ethier and company goes to the bottom of the ninth, down 5-1 against Brad Lidge. Brad Lidge is really an adventuresome reliever. I mean, he's had some ups and downs, and of course, as a closer, maybe he's better for it. But even the other night, he balked at the most dramatic time. However, he's a fellow who saved 41 for the Phillies just a couple of years ago. Brad is out of Sacramento, lives in Englewood, Colorado, not too far from Denver. Went to Notre Dame. And Jay Gibbons trying to get something going in the ninth inning for the Dodgers, hitting for Quell. On the corner, 1-1 the count. Lidge up and down. The peak was 08 when he had 41 saves. But then the next year, he still did pretty well. He had 31 saves, but he blew 11 opportunities. Going back with the Astros, when he was a teammate with Oswalt, he had a high of 42 saves. Brad 6'5". Line drive, foul. Gibbons will have to try it again. Jason Worth retrieving the ball. 2-2 to Jay Gibbons. Then it'll be Barajas and Terrio. Jay with 2 home runs, 6 runs batted in. Talking about the fact he does have 2 home runs, and you think about extra base hits. The Phillies today have had 7 extra base hits. Utley has 3 doubles. They had 2 home runs. Brown had a double, and so did Howard. The 7 extra base hits, and the Dodgers have none. Five runs, 10 hits, 2 errors for the Phils. Dodgers scratched for 1 run and 3 hits, were no-hitted until Blake singled in the 6th inning. 3-2. Now back. James Loney came the closest with an extra base hit when he hit that drive over the head of Jason Worth that hit the scoreboard in right field, but he wound up with a single. In direct contrast, the East and the West. The Phillies will be 21-10 against the Western Division. Fly ball to Worth. He started back. Now Jason comes up, 1 away. So the Phillies 21-10 against the West. The Dodgers will be 13-20 against the East. No contest. Rod Barajas walked, hit the fly ball that Jason fought in the sun. Believe he kind of overran it, lunged with his glove, and it went off for an error. And then Rod popped up, so he's 0 for 2 with a walk. Hitting back of Barajas, remember, is Ryan Terrio, who came into the game late in a double switch. Rod batting .236, 15 home runs, 40 runs batted in. That's a strike. For Brad Lidge, 1-1, 15 walks, 39 strikeouts. Whoop. 1-2 the count. So Barajas had one sailing at his head. Brad Lidge, by the way, has hit 1. 2-2. Brad, as we mentioned last night, is a good ping pong player, and he sees a bit of parallel from the two sports, trying to keep the hitter off balance. Hammered foul down the line. Still 2-2 to Rod Barajas. Casey, Ethier on the railing. Barajas battling 2-2. And caught looking. Strike 3. So the Dodgers are down to their last out, trailing 5-1 in the 9th inning. And Ryan Theriot with his foot in the door as Barajas looks at the breaking ball and pays the price. Ryan Theriot did not start. Ronnie Belliard started at second base. Belliard went 0 for 3, and then in the double switch, Theriot got into the game batting 9th. He walked in the 7th inning. So the Phillies will have beaten the Dodgers 4 out of 6. Phillies 5 runs, 10 hits. Dodgers 1 run, 3 hits. Giants Friday night, and they're hanging tough. That's a little high. On deck, Scott Posednik. Dodgers in August were 14-15. And they start September off with a loss. And ball 4. So Theriot a 2-out walk. And that'll bring up Posednik. Interesting, the Dodgers 1 game under 500 in the month of August. Tribute to the pitching, because the opposition during the month of August hit only .225 against Dodger pitching. And with all of that, Dodgers lost more than they won. Posednik is 0 for 4 strike, lined out to center, hit back to the box on a check swing, struck out, and hit into a double play. Posednik hitting .283. He has a half a dozen runs batted in. They're not holding Theriot. They don't expect Ryan to do any running. Not with the Dodgers down by 4 and 2 outs in the 9th. Theriot is a very good runner. He's stolen 18 bases, but he doesn't figure to be any threat in this situation. 1 ball and 1 strike. Way out in front. Little slider. Looking at Brad Lidge and his work in the past against the Dodgers, Posednik was 3 for 9 against him. Lidge closed up last night with 20 pitches, and he strikes out Posednik, and that will be that. So Lidge strikes out 2, walks 1, and this one's in the books. Led by Shane Victorino and Jimmy Rollins with home runs to get them out to an early lead, and Oswald and company kept the Dodgers down for the rest of the afternoon. So 5-1 Philadelphia, and the Giants will be here Friday night. Barry Zito and Chad Billingsley. Stay tuned to Dodgers Live coming up next. Good afternoon, everybody.